do you?
I do.
Good evening, all. We think we're live. Andy, Dusty, once again, evening, mate. Hope things have been good for you and the family. Thank you. And yes, we're all well. It's still cold. The weather's supposed to be warming up here in Wales this time of year, but it's not. It's freezing. I expect it's freezing for everybody. So anyway, welcome to our live stream for a Monday. We've got Nick again in the back room when we're going to have a chat with Nick in a minute, because we're going to deal, first of all, with studio sort of things, how you would record if you want to go out and do studio work, some of the tips and some of the things to consider. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. First of all, we're going to do a little bit of shopping. This is a new table that we've just brought in from Minel, and it's great because you've got the little knobs on there, look. You can put your laptop, safe as houses, on there. You can hang things like your headphones. You've got a little slot here that's really good. So the power can come through here, the power cord up and over, so it never gets snatched out. And then you obviously can add more of these on, and you can hang some bits and bobs. Just really, really good little setup that from Minel. So they are going on sale. And Louisa, who is on that side operating the camera. She's on a gimbal thingy, me Jigsy, one of them things. So she is going to say hello, Louisa.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Look at that. She's happy, isn't she? So she is going to put these up on our website, because Louisa always puts them on the website for us. So excellent. So just wanted to show you that. Get in touch with us if you like that idea. Really good, because that is worth its weight in gold if it protects that little baby. So that's that, boys and girls. Right then. Recording drums in a studio. There is a marked difference between recording drums in a studio compared to, say, playing in a local pub or even playing in a festival on a stage. And that is because when you're in the moment live, you can get away with certain things. Same as a singer. If they're a bit off key and it's live, you get away with it. Especially if a few people have had a few glasses of wine, they don't mind. They sing in with you, you get away with certain things. The problem is with a studio, is once the microphones go on, as Adam mentioned, who we had previously, you're now under the microscope, as it were. You're really being watched and listened to. So the microphones will pick up every single detail of what you do. If you accidentally clip the rims on the drum, if you don't hit the drum consistently in the center, etc., it's going to pick up every mistake that you make. So what are we going to do as some tips towards recording in a studio if there's something you haven't done a lot of or you've never done in the past? So first of all, as Adam previously mentioned, and Nick has mentioned as well, what we do is we get rid of things that we are not using so that the drums are as clean as possible. But as a player, you do have to sit down and change your mindset. I said you can't get away with anything. So Louisa's going to bring us over here a little bit, if we can. And what we're going to talk about is a few things. Are you prepared as a drummer to alter the things of your drum kit to suit the song or the studio that you're in and the mics? So I'll give you an example. If I'm sitting here and this is my perfect position, I have my hi-hats quite low because I like to play a lot of stuff open and I play crossed. And when I'm showing off, I spin and mess around and I cross back and forth. So the hi-hats need to come down a little bit. Well, that's instantly causing a sound engineer a problem because my microphone is too tight within this zone. So if I'm going to play in a studio and it's only for music, because I'm not showing off and being silly, then am I prepared to bring these up to create a little bit more scope for the microphone to get the best sweet spot of the snare drum? So that's one thing. What about if I need to lift the crashes up a little bit more and be aware of that? Why? Because when I'm playing the drum underneath, we don't want the snares to, the cymbals to bleed into the microphones. So first thing, are you prepared to adjust your setup, not be too precious about it, so that you can get the best sound from the microphones? That's number one. Number two, for an example, a lot of boys and girls now have a very flat snare drum. And they like a flat snare drum because they like to come down and rim shot. Catch that rim with the drum head. And again, live, that's fine. But when you've got a microphone right on you, one underneath, possibly one on the side, and one over the top, and you rim shot, sometimes the sound of the rim shot is just not good for the snare, for the microphone. So if that's the case with the microphones that the engineer has, when you smack that rim shot, if it's not the case, are you prepared to change so you're only at the sweet spot of the center of the drum? Dampen the drum down and start hitting the center. And then you've got to learn to become very consistent. Every hit that you do should be always of the same pace, pitch, unless it is changed for the reason of the song, like accenting or dropping and gracing. But the snare itself, doosh, dak, dook, dash, dook, dash, all that should always be the same, because the engineer doesn't want waves of drums going up and down. I'm going to show you that in 5 minutes in the room next door. So you shed off the stuff, you tilt and alter and move things around so that the song is the key. It's always the song. Now, the other thing is, what about if you want to record for other people in a studio? You have to start to, I feel, start to learn different parts of the instruments in such a way that it allows the engineer or the songwriter in particular options of how you play. So for an example, what happens if they want ticky-tacky? That's one thing. But what happens if they say we don't want a ticky-tacky sound, we want it more straight? Two different styles. So are we as drummers prepared to learn to change the way the hi-hat is? Maybe a little bit more sizzle, a bit less. Not necessarily to our liking, but to the liking of either the songwriter, the song, or the producer themselves. What happens if they ask us to remove all the cymbals and only play the drums on their own? Are we prepared to adapt and change? Or is it, no, it's my setup and I can't change anything? Well, if we're going to record in a studio, we need to adapt. It's very, very important. Click track is very important for us. But I'm going to mention something of what, as a tip for you. Some drummers are okay with click, other drummers struggle with click. Quite often, the reason, especially in the studio, you're under pressure, everybody's watching you, you're playing the drums and it's your time to record. Sometimes drummers can't hear the click. And the reason is that the engineer has given the wrong sound or the click is in the wrong place for them, which I'll explain now. So if you work with the engineer for 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes to get your click right, you'll find it'll be your friend in the studio, not a hindrance. Now, I'm talking about where the click belongs. If I play a straightforward 4/4, like this, if my click is in line with the snare and the bass drum, and is not the best of sounds, you're going to find that you lose the click track. You can't hear it, because your drums will simply bleed them out. Or if they put too much drums into the headphones, and the click is coming in and that's too quiet, again, you will lose the click track. That stresses you out because you're trying to concentrate to the click, you can't hear it, you fall off time slightly and you'll know you're off with the click, and then it spoils your day. So sit with the engineer. Maybe you want the click track on the quaver. So instead of on the down there, on the 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe you want to move the click track over to the, so that you've got a definite place of where it belongs in your head. There's a little tip for you. But make sure you say to the engineer, I want the click the way that I want it. I don't want a click, I want a cowbell, or I want a shaker, I want 16s, shaka, 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 shaka. Whatever it is that you need to make it your friend, you need to insist on the engineer helping you out with that. That makes you comfortable and makes you sit and play with that click track and enjoy it. So don't ever, especially if you're a young drummer and it's first time going into a studio, never be frightened to say to them, this is what I need from you. Sound engineer is there to help you and make your day as good as it can be, and then you can get consistent. So remember then, simplify things down, get consistency in your playing. Think about the style and the feel that you want for the song, and then put all of your effort and concentration into that. This is not live, you're not messing around, you don't need your arms up there, you need everything down, controlled and held so that the sound is exactly what you need it to be. So shall we pop in next door Come on through. Oh, and by the way, Louisa, show them our curtains. The reason for these are big heavy drapes. They're really heavy actually. We can fold these away for the shop, but when we want to, we can pull them out. We're going to actually put 2 here. We're going to widen them. What these do is to isolate the kit down, because we're in such a big room. Rather than the microphones picking up all the reflections of the whole room, we close it all in a little, which dampens it all down. It's a really sweet sound in here. So we can put room mics out there for the ambiance, and then we've got the drapes to hold in tight so that the close mics, that's the ones dangling over, like over the ride, don't get all the reflections going on. Problem with the drum kit, you've got all these microphones, it's a big sound, and they all pick up from one another. So it's all about balancing that control. So we're going to pop in next door. The other thing is, while we are walking in here, come on through. Hello, Nick.
Good evening.
Here's Nick.
It's me again.
Nick. And Nick said, oh, look at you with your jacket on. If I go now, I
didn't
wouldn't
know
my
we
jumper.
were
That's a
dressing up.
lovely jumper, Nick. That's a lovely jumper, isn't it?
Primo.
It's like Shrek when he says, who would have a place like this?
I know.
And he said, it's mine. He said, oh, lovely boulder. Anyway, so one thing we're going to do as well, myself and Nick, is we're going to offer musicians and singer-songwriters the facilities of being able to have more musicians to record on their equipment, but also like laying down drum tracks, guitar tracks, etc. But also, first of all, drummers, when we get settled, probably about another month, we would get everything balanced right.
Almost there.
So any drummer that wishes then to create an Instagram page or a YouTube channel can simply walk in here with a pair of sticks and everything is done. We will film you, you could record you and give you the files or even do the editing so that you can make yourself an Instagram or YouTube person if you wish. So fantastic. It's just brilliant. So anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing. So keep an eye on that. So here we have a door program. Agreed?
Logic.
Logic,
Audio.
this is, yeah.
Some drums that we recorded earlier with
So-
you on the kit.
Yeah. So for those who do not know, Nick, what are those?
Right, let's start off. Right, so there's lots of ways you can mic up a drum kit. We've done it like this. We've got kick-in mic, a kick-out mic, a snare top mic and a snare bottom mic, a mic on the hi-hats, a mic on the top tom, the middle tom, the floor tom, a pair of overheads, which is combined as a stereo track, and I've also put a little spot mic on the ride. We could add a room mic, but the room's really quite big sounding anyway. But you were talking earlier on about click, and this is important. We recorded some drums to click earlier, and we had a discussion, didn't we? Yeah. I gave you a click, and you didn't like the click I gave you. I gave you the standard Logic click, so you could hear the down,
And
you
the
hear
drums
click, click,
just killed it
and
off.
you just weren't able to hear it over your own drums. So then we said, right, let's turn the Logic click off. We created a new click track, which is the sound that sat above your drums.
Yeah.
And you seem to like this better. Yeah. But everyone's going to be different.
I could dance to that right now.
Well, you could double it. It could be, you know. But every drum is different, and probably every song's different, because the click, if it disappears into the track you're playing,
It's hard.
No, that's it. That's it. And you could even be laying drums just to a click. You could be the first person in the studio laying your drum tracks on your own to the click.
Yes.
So to start off, I will get you happy with what you want to hear to keep you in time. Because if you can't hear the click, you're not going to play in time. And if you don't play in time, all I'm going to be doing is hitting delete and we'll be wasting everyone's time.
And look at that, we can actually see you on the screen as well. At the same time. That's a good camera angle there, Lou.
Oh, thank you.
I was handsome when I was young.
Lou, Barnaby Crew.
So with the click, here's the click that we liked. You liked, Lee. You like this. So this is then fed through to your headphones, and fair play, you know, you probably, if you listen to it for too long, would suffer like permanent hearing damage. But that's the nature of the click. So we recorded. Right, explain. We did some drums.
4 lots. Right, Louisa, come back out by here. Sorry that we're doing this completely live and on our gizmo. Lovely boys and girls. Right, so what we had was 4 simple recordings that I did with Nick. And we'll zoom you back in a second just to show you the way the stems are. So what we did a clean take, didn't we?
So you you had a nice click, you kept on the click,
Yeah.
kept consistent playing, which is what we would be aiming for.
Then we did a messy.
Then you pretended to be a bad drummer and
with the click.
with the click.
Yeah, which is just the inconsistency of going up and down.
Yeah.
My usual stuff.
And if you can actually, when we do zoom in, you can even see on the snare track, I can see the peaks here, lovely consistent peaks, and you end.
Yeah.
And then in the track where you're all a bit scruffy, you can see you're a bit all over the shop.
And that one there
control dynamics
is the rim shot.
And
And you can
that's the rim,
see
which we're hearing
just
now.
how
Yeah.
much that affects everything.
Yeah, so there it is,
Takes
yeah.
it completely out.
Oh,
yeah.
oh, ouch.
And
Yeah.
then the sound changed, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, great stuff.
So
we have clean, as consistent as possible. So that's a thought process for the drummer to concentrate on being really on the ball.
Yep.
That one is the inconsistent. Then we did inconsistent, no click, and then we did consistent with a click.
Right,
Yeah.
So first of all, I'm gonna keep the click going through the ones we recorded with clicks. So that's the click. Right, in the drums. So we can look at it, because it's a click, there's a grid. Some people understand, some people won't, but each of these lines down here represents a beat. So when you see the click, look, the click's on the line, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 3, 4. Each of these lines is a beat, and my tempo is set 120, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So when I look at these drums, these are my kick drums, 2 kick drums, these are my snare drums in red. Okay, so when I can see that these waveforms here, these peaks, are landing on these lines, look, open them up, open them up, open them up. There you are. You're right in the pocket, Lee. Okay, the snare is the kick.
I wasn't
kick, snare, kick, snare. Right, they're in time. Okay, they're following the click. I don't need to do any work. You've played it well, and
it's
tight.
the thickness there, isn't it? The band between.
Just open them up a bit so you can see.
Yeah.
See, yes. So each of these divisions is a click in time. So the quarter notes and these are beats. 3, 4, 1. So we can watch these actually land on time that they're meant to be. So we know visually, I can look at this and I know that you're playing in time. See that click? There you go. So.
And now we move that over. Although it's in
Right.
click,
Yeah.
the waveforms are wrong
Right,
because
so this is when you
we're
say,
up and
right,
down, isn't
this
it?
is going to be the inconsistent drummer. So your timing's going to wave. Let's have a look for a
Yeah, I
start.
don't think this one was the time so much, but it was the pitch in which the drums are hit.
Yeah, so
Sometimes loud, sometimes quiet. Like that.
all about control. And look, you are out of time. Look, see that snare hit there?
Oh, there we
Right,
are.
that snare hit there. That should see my line here. If it was in time, it would be on the line.
There
It's
you
not.
go.
You're
That was the rim shot, funny enough.
you're rushing.
Yeah.
You're ahead of beat. So I'm going to end up deleting all that and asking you to do
So
it
as an
again.
engineer now, Nick, what would you end up having to do
Well,
with
if
that?
this was the best I could get, I would literally have to do a thing called time correction, where I have to edit these drums as a multi-track. So it all actually, each of these hits on all of these tracks would have to be cut and moved back into time.
Exactly.
And what happens then is I'm creating your performance then.
Yes.
You're not recording a performance. You're recording something
And
close to a
that's
performance.
when it all sounds a little static and
And that's
engineered
when it
then,
starts to
doesn't
take
it?
a long time as well.
Yeah.
I'll always have to do little edits on
But
drums.
you lose that feel then, texture,
Yes,
don't you?
yeah.
And the other thing I was thinking of with that then is that you end up having to do little things like gating, isn't it? Or compressing to try and get
It would be a
everything
lot more work.
together.
Obviously, recording a good drummer, it mixes itself. It's just correct. It's right. It all sits right.
So for boys and girls out there, concentrate to do one take through, isn't it? Maybe the odd error, but try and practice that
be ready
song.
to come into the studio.
Yeah.
So if you know you're coming into the studio, you're playing with the click, then practice at home to that click.
Yeah.
And
Totally
just
agree.
be ready. Don't come and also take one should just pretty much be like take two, and take three. Like here, like whole different sections, whole different. You know, it's you come to the studio.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, you're
you
not
need
there
to
to
know
jam.
you need to know
or
what you're doing.
practice.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
we record should be the same every time.
Yeah.
And then it's about getting the best performance.
Yeah.
You're not just hoping for the best when we hit record.
Excellent. So we'll do that one now. That was
Okay.
inconsistent, no
So,
click
right,
at
we
all.
don't always have to record with a click. We could be
No.
recording on a live band. We could just say, right, you know, I mean, got click. All my favourite albums from the 70s and whatever didn't have a.
No,
they
I
didn't
know.
use a click, and timing would wave up and down, and you get an energy from. But a lot of modern music these days, and if you're recording drum tracks for other people,
Yeah.
as a session drum, you're going to have to work to play. But right. So we did the same thing. So we turn the click off. We just let you play. I think this time you played a little bit out of control style.
Yeah, that was
So-
messy playing on purpose. I did do that bit on purpose. So that's, that
But then
slight
obviously
pause.
then you said, right, let's do the same thing, but just rein it in. So you know. So much more control. But while we're here,
Yeah.
let's quickly break down. So we've got kick, inside kick mic, which is all the attack. That's just the kick. And the outside kick mic. That's like the thud boom. The top snare mic. The bottom snare mic, which sounds very strange on its own. It's very thin, sort of. It adds the rattle that you need. It's quite quiet. Okay, and then with the toms, you don't play any toms there. And then the big, all important, the overhead mics in stereo. And you can hear it's a big room, which is why we're working on these blankets and baffles. It's a big room. And I got a little ride mic, but you're not playing on the ride. So, and it's all put together and mixed. There's various little bits of EQ and stuff, and I put it all through like a master drum bus where I added a bit of compression to make it all sound a little bit bigger. But overall, we
And
are
this-
already capturing.
Yeah, and
Well, I
this, in
record-
fairness, we haven't done any engineering of you. You haven't
But
we
it's-
just
it's-
recorded that,
We just,
and that was
they're
it.
pretty much dry
Yeah,
drums. We
yeah.
spent a lot of time miking the kit. We spent a lot of time placing the mics.
Yeah.
We've got great equipment, good mics, really good preamps, and
But it shows as well. If you pre-practice, obviously I'm just doing a little jam there to show.
yeah,
But if the drummer works on that song and he plays that song 1,000 times and then he comes in and he's consistent with it,
yeah.
the whole thing is gonna, as you said, it starts off really sweet, doesn't it?
Well,
and the rest of the band are sitting on
It's
that.
where it all
You-
starts.
Your
Where
footing
it
is
all
good
starts.
and away to
Yeah.
go.
Now, and to mention what we're doing at the moment is we're creating an environment where a drummer can come in, and we don't have to spend hours miking the kit up. We don't spend hours tuning it. We don't spend hours getting levels. We've got a template. You can come in here and you can just
And advice
turn
of
up with
what
your
we can
sticks.
do.
Well,
yeah.
from you as
Yeah.
well. You can sit down, and within 20 minutes we could be recording your drum tracks, and eventually, well, not too filming as well is going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
But the idea is it's a bespoke solution for drummers to come and record
Yeah.
drum tracks. I mean, usually you can turn up at a studio with your own drum kit, and you're not going to be recording any drums till mid-afternoon,
Yeah, I know.
because it's going to be setting up, miking up, tuning,
Yeah.
and the engineer's going to have to do all the stuff that we've done it already, and it's going to be ready here for you just to turn up
And go.
and play.
So if you're watching this 2 years down the line, you might find that there's loads of people been in and out. Anyway, so what you need to do, boys and girls, if you've not done this and you want to go into a studio, you either have to have a very nice engineer like Nick who will look after you, or what you've got to do is practice the thing that you're taking in 1,000 times to get it sweet, isn't it? Do all of your working out,
Yeah.
whether you want to do this and that. You can record that actually on your own phone. Record yourself raw just to get an idea of, do I want the hi-hat like this? Do I want the snare like that?
Yeah.
Then when you walk into the room, you're fine-tuning in you with the engineer. You're not starting from scratch.
Especially for young drummers, maybe with plenty of guys that I know work with are so used to all this.
Yeah.
It's fun. But if you're not used to it, get your phone, download a metronome app. There's loads of free ones. So you've got an actual metronome on your phone. You put it in your headphones, And when you practice your drum parts, you can actually
Practice so
start
that becoming
practicing
your friend.
to a click. And make the click. There's so many drummers, they're just terrified of the click. The click is just like, oh my God, it's a click. But usually when we find a click that they can play to, and some drummers don't need a click, they need to shake it.
Yeah.
Or they need some percussion loop.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
But
Like, get
find
something
out what
that's nice.
works for you. I can help you with that. And then once we get, and obviously once you can actually play in time, it's just a matter of being comfortable with what you're hearing back.
So it's really important for drummers to remember and realise the work that you put in the style in which you play before you hit that studio is everything, isn't it? It's really, really worth it. So you don't turn up with 6 cans, here I go, I'm the best, and watch my snare drum bang. No, I know, but what I'm trying to say about that is just head in the job.
Yeah.
Get your head into the job.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you
have
come
a can
in,
if it
you're
chills
not a
you
great
out.
player. I'm sorry to use the phrase, right? But you can get quite a good shine on a turd, but it's still a turd.
Yes.
Okay, so
I know. Yes. I always say, Lee the Spray always says to anybody that's looking at the drums in there, can't polish a turd. I need to make sure it's
I've learned
good.
to get a fair shine on one over the years, but it's
We're
still,
going now.
it's still
On
what
that
it is.
note.
There you go, on that note, right then, boys and girls. So hopefully, I know it's a little bit darker in here, so we apologise about the camera work, Lou. And
Thanks.
I think you did brill. But hopefully, it's just another snippet of getting you to, if you've not done this and you fancy doing studio work, or your band wants to record, whatever it is, and you've never seen this, or you've never been there, surprising how many haven't. And just take your time, be as good as you can get. So when you walk in that room, you have a bit of confidence in yourself. Secondly, work with the engineer to say, I need this, please. And then he helps you, and then you take the pressure. And sometimes you just got to tell everybody else, can you just go, please? You don't want a full band, or if you're working with a big band and they all turn up to watch you, you've got an audience while you're under the microscope. You don't want it. You might have to just say, look, I want everything out. All I want is the acoustic guitar as my guide track, or the vocal and so on.
Definitely.
Pick what you need to make you relaxed and concentrate like mad on those drums.
Yeah.
Concentrate on the song and the sound. Not about licks, not about everything else. Song and sound. And obviously, the more difficult the drum track is, that's just going to take a bit longer, isn't it? Some people have to stay in the studio for a good length of time to really lay down difficult parts. That's all it needs. You don't walk in and do Spirit the Radio in one take. You have to take your time with that and spend a bit of time on it and get fluent, and then away to go.
Yeah.
You know, so anybody local or anyone in the UK, if you want to become good on your Instagram and all the rest of it, you can come and see us, start chatting to us by messenger. But in the meantime, hopefully that gives you a little insight about what is expected of you as a studio drummer if you want to do it different to live. So how's that, Nick?
Get in touch, ask us questions.
And we'll be getting involved more anyway.
There'll be more.
Lou's quite a good camera girl. So
I think she's.
you look very relaxed there, by the way.
I am.
Proper studio engineer, see? Oh, that's the phone to say, will you shut up now? So boys and girls, thank you very much. Louise is going to press goodbye now, and we will see you all. Again, I can't see comments, so I do apologise, but soldier on and keep drumming. Ta-da!